Hello YouTube, I'm back, and I've been wanting to make this type of video for a long time. I recently got 2 orders for a pair of cornhole boards. I want to show you guys what it costs to buy the plywood, the supplies, how much time it takes me to make these cornhole boards, and kind of shed some light on what kind of margins I make for these boards. So if that kind of interests you, I think you should stick around and find out. So this video isn't really going to be about how to make the cornhole boards. It's going to be more so the business side of me making the cornhole boards. Usually when I get a couple orders, I'll already have a few shells kind of blanked out, if you will. I get them pretty much to finish grade, and then I'll slap the decal on top of the board, seal it up with a little bit of polyacrylic, and then I'll sell them for some good margin. So generally, I'll buy one piece of 4x8 plywood, which usually runs about $52. I'll buy a bunch of sticks of 1 by 4 inch by 8 foot. How many did I buy? So I bought 6 sticks of 1 by 4 by 8 foot, and then one more extra piece so that you can cut out like the legs and all the miscellaneous stuff for this. I think that came out to around $115 for 2 sets. For the legs, the carriage bolts also, I'm going to put that over here also. That's going to come at a later point in the video. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing. I don't think there is. The decal, I'll tell you how much that costs a little bit later on in the video. When I first started getting into woodworking, I bought the Craig jig, kind of like this little single portion. It was like $19, and it kind of did the job for a little while. I just never wanted to really upgrade to the $99 piece. I bought this about 3 years ago, and I must say that it makes things a lot quicker in the shop, and it is definitely a need. The Craig jig really makes things go a lot quicker when I'm in here. Before I had to use that smaller clamp to kind of put it on the piece of wood with a clamp, and then I had to figure out the thickness of this depth and everything. Kind of became a little bit of a pain in the neck. Now that I drilled all the pocket holes into all these boards, the fun part comes where I get to assemble these pieces of select pine to the plywood tops. So I'm going to brush this stuff off and put this away for now and start assembling. So when I first started making cornhole board, I was a junior in college back in 2015 when I started this YouTube channel also. Me and my buddy Dan Garrick made our first cornhole board in the back of our college house, and at that time I never really thought that I'd be making cornhole boards really a lot. I thought that was the only set that I was going to be making. So when I first started making these, I sold them for $150. Wasn't really making a whole lot of money. I was actually probably breaking even when I was selling for that much. A couple boards later, and I finally got my boards up to $225 that I've been selling them for, and that's a pretty good gauge of where the market is here in Virginia Beach. A lot of people say that that's probably kind of expensive. They see the boards over at Dick's Sporting Goods or another, like on Amazon and stuff like that, selling for like 25 bucks or whatever it is. But these boards are a little bit different. I'm using select pine and a 3/4 inch plywood top. And also pretty high quality decals, and I think that the quality of the boards really reflect the price. So that's why I think people keep coming back and ordering more. So in my opinion, I think that cornhole boards are probably the easiest thing to learn because it's pretty easy. It's just a box. 24 inches by 48 inches. Super simple to make. Super easy to get home, especially if you have a small car or no garage at all. You can always build it on the back deck. That's what I did at my old house at college. And people actually pay money for it, surprisingly enough. Something about throwing a bean in a bag in a hole on a plywood box. People love it. I'm sure you clicked on this video to find out exactly how much this cost me and how much I sell them for exactly. So each one of these sets, I made 2 of them. I sell for $225 to my customers. I bought 1 sheet of 3/4 inch plywood, which ran me $52. I bought 6 each 8 foot by 4 inch select pine, which I use for the sides of all the boards. Bought 6 of those suckers, which totaled up to $42. I bought a bunch of hardware, the carriage bolts, the nuts, and the washers that connect the legs. Bought that for a total of $10. And then I bought a couple of these decals from a local decal store. Each one of these ran me about $10, making that $40 total. And then I threw in $5 for the polyacrylic, which is the protective coating that I put over top of the decals and the boards to kind of protect it over the weathering process. So I sold these for $250 for each set, which came out to $450. I had $149 into it, which left me with $301 total that I made on this. It took me about 4 hours to make these 2 sets. I'm charging $30 times 4, brought that out to $120 in labor, which I will pay myself, but I probably won't pay myself. I'll put it back into the business, which leaves me $181 of margin that I could put towards anything I want. So yeah, that's pretty much the rundown of how much I sell these things for. They come in pretty steady, especially between the spring, summer, and fall. It's the perfect summer job for any high schoolers looking to do something like this instead of maybe Uber or fast food. And I always encourage people to get into woodworking because you teach yourself a trade and you also develop a lot of relationships with small businesses and other folks in your community. So now that I went through that, I'm going to go ahead and slap these decals on, get out of the garage because it's hot in here, and deliver them to the customer. So I didn't really get a chance to show you me putting the legs on these boards. Started getting down kind of towards the crunch time, so I wasn't able to show you that, but you weren't really missing a whole lot. I just threw them on there last second last night, and I'm gonna go deliver these suckers now. It's always the best feeling when you get these things delivered. It's nice having them out of the shop. They take up a lot of room, and you get paid, which is awesome. So we'll see how they like them. You should definitely check them out. Water Jam over here in Virginia Beach. Seems like a pretty cool outfit.